This video is brought to you in collaboration with WoWhead.com. Hello everyone! Where the light deals with a singular truth, the void deals with 1,000. All eyes are opened, all possibilities revealed, but neither side knows the singular truth. Throughout the years, the void has dropped some prophecies in our lap. We've had whispers from Yogg-Saron, from Azov himself, that to this day are still being questioned and talked about. It shocked me to see that it's been 8 years already since we spoke about them for the first time, and since a lot of you have asked, let's dive back into them, see if they played out, or perhaps get a new spot in the story. I'll put the source of the whisper in the corner of the video, as I think it's easy to follow if we group them up in similar categories. We will have Yogg-Saron in Legion, Yogg-Saron in Battle for Azeroth, and Azov in Dragonflight.
To find him, drown yourself in the circle of stars. The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. From the earth he draws strength. Our earth, our strength. Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it.
Come, heroes, prove yourselves worthy. Find me in the circle of stars. You see the truth now, don't you, heroes? Every move you've made has been according to my will. That lumbering dwarf believed you could save Azeroth by empowering your shiny little heart. The gift of a sleeping titan. Yes, a titan's heart was exactly what was needed. Not to heal the world, but to shatter the prison of a god. Such delicious irony. The Diamond King has been made a pawn.
The Heart of Azov was gifted to us by Azeroth during Battle for Azeroth. The necklace was filled up with Azerite, which was turned against us by Aora, and she used it to release Azov from his prison. But it was also the thing that allowed us to mega death beam Azov into oblivion. But before their plans came crumbling down and we saved the day, the King of Diamonds was used as a pawn to set this all in motion. From the earth he draws strength. Azerite popping up all over the surface. The Heart of Azov filled up with this powerful substance. That all lines up neatly with the release of the old god Azov, but now some of this could also be reapplied to what we're learning about the Titans and how they have dealt with Azeroth.
The corrupting influence of the imprisoned old gods was affecting the world soul. To protect it, we had the Earthen construct the World Core, a vast chamber at the heart of the world. There, the world soul will slumber, with only the Titans to influence it. I must note a disturbing development. As they warped to greater depths, some Earthen began to behave erratically. This could not be countenanced. Most units were repaired and continued their work, but some began to physically change and crystallize. They named themselves Thragar. These faulty units were so greatly affected that they rebelled against us, attacking and damaging the World Core.
So, a interpretation is that Azeroth did not want to be contained, regardless if the World Core did protect her, and if the old god's influence still affected her while they were imprisoned, could they have already left behind some corruption, already fill up her crater. But either way, that does not mean that she agreed with being contained by the Titans to begin with, to be kept pure for the use of the Titans, and so she turned the Earthen into pawns, into tools of breaking down her confinements. What if her goal with Magni was the same? A pawn of Azeroth. He passed on Azeroth's gift into the machinery, into the newly born Earthen, and says,
You let me go,
If she tried to use the Earthen to break down her confines in the past, would she do so again with the newly created ones? And if so, does that mean her price of freedom? It comes with making herself vulnerable to the Void's corruption once more. The old gods might be gone, but Xal'atath certainly isn't.
The world's soul, so long denied me, shall be mine.
5 keys to open our way. 5 torches to light our path.
5 keys. And back in Legion, we had the 5 pillars of creation that we had to collect in order to help Khaz'goroth, our Lord of Ravens perhaps, to seal off the Legion gateway at the tomb of Sargeras. That led to flying through the twisted nether, Illidan using the Sargerite keystone to open up a rift between Argus and Azeroth. Sargeras was ultimately pulled away from the world, but not before he plunged his sword, causing battle for Azeroth to happen. The Heart of Azov then filled up with Azerites, which in turn was used to release N'Zoth.
I have brought you the opener, the bringer of truths, the torch that lights the way.
That is a lot of steps, and while to me it still lines up nicely, we could do it again. During Shadowlands, we had to collect 5 sigils in order to open up a gateway into Zereth Mortis to stop the Jailer. While Azeroth was hurt pretty badly, the Jailer was defeated, to which our world started to rapidly heal, causing the rise of the elements and the Dragon House to wake up once more, to then have Iridikron released. He would pick up the Dark Hearts, handed it over to Xal'atath, followed by all the events that are currently playing out, like Dalaran destroyed, Khadgar sucked into the Dark Hearts, for then the Dark Heart to be destroyed and Khadgar released. Was oddly convenient how Alyria was able to hit the Dark Hearts. Was this all part of the Mistress's plan? Is the Lord of Ravens still secretly in service to Xal'atath and aimed at turning the key? Or is he the key?
At the hour of her 3rd death, she ushers in our coming.
Azeroth could still die, which would mean that we have the Sundering, the Shattering, followed by what comes next, to which Xal'atath could usher in their coming. The deaths of Xal'atath, or Najara, or Sylvanas, they don't line up, or we don't know with 3 deaths so far, but we do have someone believing that she already died twice.
Indeed. Sometimes I feel that I have already died twice. Once, when we were presumed lost on Draenor. And again, when gripped by the shadow of the fallen Naru. Perhaps death is the true legacy of the Windrunners.
Alyria Windrunner with 2 metaphorical deaths. So far, she's been the focus of Xal'atath's manipulations, and while the day seems to be saved, Alyria embracing both the Void and her loved ones, her anchors keeping her from falling to madness, yet Xal'atath claims that nothing has changed. Very much given a vibe of we're not dealing with her true plans that are running in the background. What would happen to Alyria if, for example, Khadgar, the Lord of Ravens, turns the key and kills her Trellian, her closest friend, killing her beloved after just getting closer again? Would it be enough for her 3rd death to fall into madness, use the Sunwell, not by accident, but on purpose, to open up a massive gateway and usher in their coming?
The Golden One claims a vacant throne. The crown of light will bring only darkness.
Personally, I think this one was related to Kalia, considering they made a whole big deal about finding the crown of Lordaeron within exploring Azeroth, but that story never played out or never played a part in the game. Perhaps due to Kalia's reception, perhaps due to a shift in Sylvanas' direction, who's to say? Trellian could be an option, sitting on the throne of Stormwind, but the faction war seems to be long gone. Pelagos is a new arbiter, but very specific to the Shadowlands storyline, as well as it would be a bit of a repeat. So with an eye on the future, I've got 2 names to suggest. Alyria, who earned the nickname Lady Sun due to her golden hair that could set her sights on the empty throne within Quel'Thalas, a repeat of the line of her going for the Sunwell and using the powers on purpose this time. Secondly, we have Queen Azura, Light of Lights, who last time that we saw her set.
I tire of intermediaries and heralds. The true throne of power beckons, and I intend to claim it.
Guessing that a race to the top of Icecrown was out of the question. She probably just gets stuck in the snow. So where is the queen now? And when she gets that throne, what will that mean for us? And more importantly, the darkness of the void.
The blind queen wields a scepter of bone. From the deep, she calls forth doom.
Originally, I gave this one to Sylvanas, in league with the jailer and all things undead, calling forth Azj-Kahet and eventually Azov, as in her mind, dead is dead. Let everybody end each other, that would serve their ambitions. But again, what about Queen Azj-Kahet herself? If she claims that throne, could she be the blind queen? Azj-Kahet was not exactly a willing ally to the old god Azov, not in truth. So now that she no longer has to worry about him, how does she look at a Xal'atath going around? There are a couple of delves that take us underwater. There's a super interesting side quest in Hollowfall, which is related to the Leviathans and their hope of not having to see us drown. The power of the Dark Ones flow within the waters. Could we see a return of Queen Azj-Kahet calling forth doom? Perhaps doom for us, or better yet, for our enemies.
You will follow him to the deep places. The dark waters will flow in his wake.
Let us stick with these waters then. We followed Anduin into Hollowfall, with waters potentially infused with the Black Blood. A peculiar fish tells us that they're gone, but their blood remains. The blood remembers. Swim in these dark waters and be changed by them. No light shines in these depths. Dark blood rains from the false sky. It tastes of wars past and wars to come. We've seen the Kobus seemingly worshipping this dark power but forgetting themselves, and a friendly abyssal Leviathan child pretending to be a fish. They returned to the sea beneath the sea, wherever that might be, not wanting to see us drown. Which is nice with all these drown yourself prophecies. Then Anduin led us one level lower into Azj-Kahet, which also has darkened waters, the black blood of the old gods being gathered by the Nerubians, and how touching it long enough has us end up in the unseeming, a sort of upside down from Stranger Things, and that power, that black blood, has played a critical role for the Nerubians.
With many eyes, they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted.
Originally, I connected this to the waters of Tyrhold and the corruption of Galakrons, but considering that the beastie never showed up in Dragonflight, let's give it to the many-eyed Nerubians instead, connected to Queen Ansrek and their so-called ascension. Then there's another that has noticed the rise of the Nerubians and the troubles of the Black Blood.
Its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. The vassal of life disguises treachery. Beware the eyes of greed.
I've been told that a vassal is a feudal title for a landholder who serves a lord. So basically, it would translate into a high-ranking servant of the domain of life. The Horer Orena has shiny green eyes, featured prominently in the trailers. So far, they've been kept quite mysterious, connected to the roots of Aluna, a tree once ripped out by the titan Aman'thul, but its roots are still very much around. I've done a video going much deeper into what the story might be about, but perhaps Orena is going to lead us into meeting that vassal, someone close to Alun.
6 seats at the high table, 6 mouths that hunger. One will consume all others. The cunning ones kneel before 6 masters, but serve only one.
A big reveal from the Shadowlands was that the Dreadlords actually came from this domain, sired by the Nephrius in league with the Jailer. They've infiltrated the 6 cosmic domains, manipulated events while serving only one true master. We defeated the Nephrius, but his essence went into his blade, Remornia, which the Dreadlords have liberated, so the Nephrius is still out there. What would their goals be, now that the Jailer is out of the picture?
Purge dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dreams. Our song.
All across Azeroth, a song rings out. The Radiant Song. But different people are getting different versions. And her song, it can be heard not just from the core of the world, but also from the crystals, the crystallized essence of Azeroth, like a Baladar. Our dreams seem to hint that while the Titans might have wanted to seal her from the Void's corruption, not all of it was prevented, and they've been joining the chorus, which lines up with what an Alyria tells us.
No radiance. No song. Just the shadow.
Then we also had this line in the Shadowlands.
Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Quiet now, but her voice will awaken the others.
This is a line during the Zereth Mortis period, so not sure how relevant they want to keep it, but still, what else is awakening? What others are they talking about? Other Zereths? Other crystals? Other world souls? Are there even still more souls out there?
The boy king serves at the master's table. 3 lives will he offer you.
On a different topic, similar to Kalia, I think that this line was related to a story that was changed, but it might rotate back. Anduin Wrynn has been called the Boy King a couple of times, and once was given a story arc where the stress of it all was getting to him. The darkness was creeping in, unleashed by accident, and he was mocked, told that he was gonna serve well, and this was before the Shadowlands, but then his arc shifted. Instead, we saw an Anduin who was once again clear of mind, and he knew what road to take. He was forced to serve by Sylvanas, the Banshee Queen doing to him what Arvis had done to her, dominated and forced to serve, not able to offer a whole lot of lies. They could have him fall to darkness once more. While so far taking steps to return to the light, the road is full of curves and bumps, right? And while I don't necessarily want to see more happening to the Boy King, tragedy does make for interesting storytelling. If and when the tide turns, will he be able to hold on, or is he going to fall even deeper? Sylvanas was unable to convince him that the jailer was the right way to go. Could a Zolotov fare better? Then beyond Anduin, we could also look at Dagran. At the time of the Whispers, Dagran was a little bit too young to be spreading a whole lot of lies, but the years have passed, and he's partying with us now. So far, he's been extremely clever and a great aid in our adventures, but also a bit naive and unexperienced with the dangers of the road. Could he be the one serving at the master's table?
5 lanterns now darkened. The flame they seek will light the master's way.
Farron Lofar has played a big part in Anduin's road to reconnect with the light. She is part of an Arafi group, which is called the Lamplighters. They're the front line against the darkness. Now imagine a story if and when we go to the Arafi Empire, in which their use of the Sacred Flame is applied to reigniting the spark of 5 lanterns. 5 houses maybe, which ultimately lights the Master's way. That would be far off future stab in the dark interpretation. A bit closer to home, that would be what we saw in Dragonflight. Queen Alexstrasza, she figured that we were going to need their aspect powers back in order to win against the Primal Incarnates, and she thought that maybe, just maybe, they could get this by reinvigorating their 5 O-Stones. She was wrong on both accounts. The O-Stones didn't really go anywhere, but maybe they didn't go anywhere yet. Their aspectral powers have returned through a Mirdrasil. What if the O-Stones are still going to come into play later?
This is not the Titan's magic.
This is of our world, yet unlike anything I have known.
With that, I think we've covered most of the Whispers, which I actually had something to say about. And it keeps amazing me how fluid they actually are, and how you can reapply them with new information into new situations. Especially the ones that were dropped by N'Zoth at the end of Dragonflight. They seem to line up nicely with potentials for the World Within and beyond. With that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. By all means, let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. The speculation on these Whispers has been crazy so far. And say that you want to read up on all the things we talked about today. Then check out the WoWhead article in the description down below. Subscribe if you like my videos. And until next time, see ya!
The light has struck a bargain.